It's time for a cup of coffee with Will and Chris at Slumberland Furniture. From Slumberland Furniture in Osage Beach, here are your hosts, William Holtz and Chris Schneider.
It's that time for this week's cup of coffee from Slumberland at the Lake. I'm Wild Will.
I'm Uncle Chris.
Hard to believe, Memorial Day weekend has come, it's gone, meaning summer season officially here.
Yeah, boy, you could tell with the boats out on the water over Memorial Day weekend. We were gone for a lot of the weekend, but got back on Sunday evening, busiest 2 days of the year.
You were gone because you celebrated your wedding anniversary.
That's right, man. We've been married for 100 years.
Happy anniversary to Uncle C and Mrs. Uncle C. That's not all that happened over Memorial Day weekend. Some boating accidents. We saw some scary stuff there. I saw a hailstorm. Did you see some of the hail?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff.
That, and of course, not as local, but in Boonville, where you were at, a fireworks stand caught fire, or a warehouse.
We left before that blew up. I wish we'd gotten to stay and see that.
Crazy sight. So as it's come and gone, all attention focuses towards summer season, offshore, Shootout offshore. This weekend, we're going to talk about that, update you on Oasis at Lakeport, the Nichols Apartments. Hey, you saw the Ozarks Hillbilly halfwit was restored.
Yeah, thank goodness. That's greatness, man.
That and Osage Beach looking for a new city administrator. That and more on this week's Cup of Coffee after this from Slumberland at the Lake.
Hey everybody, Daryl Cunningham with Slumberland Furniture at the Lake. We're so excited to announce a couple new partners with us here at Slumberland. The first being Flex Steel. Needs no introduction. Great style, great functionality, and it's built to last a lifetime. The other being Homestretch. Made here in America, it's also built to withstand anything. They're on sale with the Memorial Day sale. Don't forget we're doing 0% interest for 36 months. Delivery to the entire lake area at Slumberland Furniture, where we're bringing happy home.
That's right, the final days of the Slumberland at the Lake Memorial Day sale. Stop by and check out up to 60% off list prices. And of course, when you stop by, tell them Uncle C and Wild Will sent you in. All right, so Memorial Day weekend. You weren't around the lake for the whole thing, but you got away and got to see some pretty cool things up in Boonville, huh?
Right, you know, we're kind of new to Missouri. We lived in Dallas for a long time, moved here about 5-6 years ago. So we're trying to get to different places, you know, and kind of figure out, you know, Missouri history. So we went to Boonville this weekend, and there wasn't a whole lot there, but there's
a casino,
There's
baby.
enough to keep you busy. We're not casino people because we like our money too much.
Frugal, I'll put it that way.
Yeah, but, you know, great history. It was Daniel Boone's sons, basically, that the town was named after and stuff like that. They've got a historic bridge that we went to, a train bridge and stuff. So Boonville has a great history over there. You know, I mean, one day you can catch up on it in one day. But after that, after Boonville, and we went and said, and we did go to the casino, you know, went to the sports bar there and everything and stuff. After that, did you know the Clydesdale's breeding farm is just outside of Boonville? Boonville?
I didn't. I thought it would have been in St. Louis.
Me too. It's right in between Columbia and Boonville. It's called Warm Springs Ranch, and we went there. The wife and I went there. I mean, you get up close and personal with those horses, man. You're right there. You pet them, you pat them, you do all that stuff. So we had a great time.
You pet them, you pat them.
We had a really good time, and that was very cool. They kind of keep that a little quiet because it is a running breeding farm, so they didn't want too much activity there and stuff, but they do tours, and we had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I hear you guys had a lot of fun too over the weekend.
Yeah, we hit all of the different waterfront establishments. We saw some boats. We got to attend some birthday parties. We had a great weekend, and it seemed like the activity on the water was bustling. I mean, there was a lot of boats on the water as we crossed the bridges, and there were a couple accidents. You saw there were a PWC accident, it looked like, on Monday.
Yeah.
Actually, Memorial Day, 2 teens injured. And then, of course, the propeller accident. That was really scary. I didn't see an update as of time of recording Tuesday morning, but seriously injured young lady who went in to swim. There were conflicting reports between the Missouri Highway Patrol, Water Patrol Division, and Lake Expo's initial story. But anyway, you look at that, just tragic. I did get insight from somebody who was involved in the first on the scene, and they said it was one of the worst accidents they had seen in their time of EMS and working on the water. And they said, so it was really, really scary. And, you know, it's so important that as we start to see the increased activity that people start looking into the boating safety, start looking into things, because there's different elements to operating a vessel that if you haven't or you're not familiar with, they seem pretty simple and not that significant. But as we learned over Memorial Day weekend, something as small as jumping in too close to the boat's propeller could lead to very serious injury and even worse, a tragic death. And so those boater safety tips and series we have on YouTube, we're working right now with Ameren and the Water Patrol to bring those back and reinvent those, because, you know, we're not slowing down anytime soon. I imagine new people that have never hit the water are going to continue to come to Lake of the Ozarks and rent a boat and get out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it would seem to be common sense that you don't jump in the back of the boat where the propeller is, you know, especially if the propeller is moving. But sometimes the drivers don't even think about it. Somebody's back there swimming, they fire it up, and all of a sudden somebody gets chewed up in the propeller. It happened a couple years ago. A little kid was killed that way. So, I mean, it happens more than you would think.
And if you've never been on a vessel and you might be at an idle speed and you may not hear a lot of noise, you may assume that the boat is off or it's not running and just jump in. You take it for granted if you're not familiar. So always important to think about safety. And it was overall a great weekend at Lake of the Ozarks. Seemed like there was a lot of people visiting and a lot of people staying because it's a Shootout offshore this weekend.
I think, you know, and we live on the water, so we get a good view of what's going on the lake. I think this was the busiest weekend at the lake I've seen in at least a couple of years. Busier than any weekend I saw last year, I think. So I think it's going to be a busy year at the lake.
You're talking on the water, right?
On the water, boats on the water, yeah.
Oh, sure. All right, so in local news, as we head into the summer season, we've been talking about Oasis at Lakeport, the amusement park and Marriott development with the conference center, the indoor water park. Well, they officially had their groundbreaking on Thursday.
How about that? So I figured they would have done the groundbreaking a year ago because they've been working on it for a year, but they did the official groundbreaking. They had a whole lot of speeches going on. Fred Ross from Big Thunder. They had a Missouri senator there, Osage Beach mayor, the constructors, Brinkman Construction. So first phase of the project includes the construction of the amusement rides, the attractions, restaurants, marina, and that's slated to open next summer. Okay, not this summer, but next summer. Jeff Tegetoff, founding principal of the development team, ran down a list of projected numbers to contrast what the site would have brought in economic benefit to the community had it just sat there and not done anything, as opposed to them doing this development, okay? And these are the developer's numbers, so, you know, he probably went a little heavy on his side.
A little heavy.
$420 million in total development costs. Wow. $100 million in public infrastructure, 1,000 plus construction jobs, $150 million plus spent on skilled labor, $100 million in new annual revenue, 350 plus full-time jobs, more than 20 million in local payroll, and 600,000 plus visitors estimated annually. So some of the numbers thrown out by the developers, as opposed to if nothing would have been done with that land, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're assuming over 25 years that property's just done. Nothing's going to be built there. No taxes are going to be created from that space. And it's like, I call BS on that because it's such an attractive space. So I understand there's big development, big money, big job opportunities for that area, but it's disingenuous to give a comparison when there's absolutely no likelihood, no reality where that space sits there vacant and got blighted. I mean, so I don't know if I love the comparison, but golly, those are aggressive numbers. You say he certainly was aggressive in those. And the project as a whole sits on 25 acres. You mentioned all of the different projects in the first phase, not to mention the 30,000 square foot conference center with that indoor water park, the 200 public boat slips, and the 1,000 space parking garage as part of that second phase. Still questions with the condos there, the Lakewood resorts.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the developer.
We got any news on that?
No, I know the developer, Jeff Tegetoff, has acquired more weeks of the timeshare, but I haven't gotten anything back from Tegetoff. I did reach out, congratulate them on the groundbreaking. We were unable to attend due to a prior obligation, but they say in all, this project, $400 million anyway you look at it. And of
That's
course,
your kind of money, baby.
Sure, right. Take away about 7 zeros and we're talking. Highway 54 off Jeffries Road right there, adjacent from the Grand Glaze Bridge. You've probably seen the progress they're making. You see the retaining wall, and I did love the American flag they had up over Memorial Day. It was massive. It looked really good, so that was a good move. And of course, with that groundbreaking, just flooding into the comments online, and people's next questions were, okay, this is exciting. We still don't know about Nichols development. That's been sitting for a little bit, and we've kept you posted for the most part. Our most recent update is Chad Nugent, who is the main contractor, Thomas Construction, said that actually it's in a great place right now.
Ooh,
they have been
good.
receiving money, and that they are getting contractors caught up, almost completely caught up, and that he says we could have crews on site as early as the early part of June. So within the coming week, they could be back on site moving forward with that project. I did reach out to Jeff Tegetoff. I did not hear back, and that seems to be the general consensus from all the contractors that I've talked to, is that things are moving in the right direction. There was one contractor who claims still no payment last week, but I would hope that with Chad and Thomas Construction saying payments are coming in, they're getting contractors caught up, that won't be an issue moving forward. So we'll continue to push, we'll continue to ask questions and keep you posted on that. But I guess what I thought may be the reality, looks like this thing may be getting back on track.
Man, that is great news. So good to hear. And I'm really pulling for, everybody involved. I like Jeff Tegetoff. I like him. I think he's got the right motives and has some great ideas. I hope it works out. I think it is getting back on track. I'm a Mayor Harmison fan. I think all of this is good, moving in the right direction, good progress, So I think all of that is good, especially with that news of the Nichols development. So you got that smile on your face, so I don't think you agree with me.
I've heard it a handful of weeks. You like Jeff Tegetoff, you like
I do.
Mayor
I like
Harmison.
that guy.
Good for you, Uncle Chris. Good for you. All right, so as we move forward, the Ozark Hillbilly halfwit, the iconic statue, the giant, had been returned. Chief Bagnall, which is owned by Reese Development, has acquired that. Looking great there in front of Two-Bit Town, where that used to sit. Well, the Ozark Hillbilly halfwit, owned by the Page family, sits there at Lotto Live, had been returned a few weeks ago, and it was damaged within 2 weeks of it being there. We told you last week about that, right?
Yeah, right. And I think it was your reporting on that got things going so quickly, probably.
Well, I don't know, but I know Tuesday, last week when we recorded the show, I got contacted by an individual, Evan Lewis, with Big Boys Fiberglass.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, you should do a follow-up on this. We're fixing the Ozark Hillbilly halfwit.
Just like that.
So Evan Lewis with Big Boys Fiberglass, he actually agreed to come do the work. Joe Page paid for the materials. He came and repaired the fiberglass foot on Tuesday, the same day we read. Our story didn't break till Wednesday. And on Wednesday, Garrett Jackson with 6-1 Arts came out and put the finishing touches on it with resin and paint and epoxy and finished it. It looks incredible. He was nice enough to share some video with me and get the progress. And I put a reel up Wednesday to break the news and show people. And what a cool thing for these two. Garrett Jackson with 6-1 Arts. He now works with Lake Ozark Tattoo and Hair Studio as an intern there. So you need to go by and see him. And he also does murals. He's known as the Lodo Wall Dog. He's done all kinds of cool murals down here, like Expo's office. You remember on the strip, the fence painting on the mural? That's his work. And then Evan Lewis with Big Boys Fiberglass. They did this out of the kindness of their heart. He is the best down here in fiberglass repair. Listen, boats, PWCs, RVs, fifth wheels, and trailers. Does phenomenal work, and he made quick work of the Ozark Hillbilly halfwit. Also, Joe Page and family, who first put up the money and effort to bring it back, restore it. They also paid for the materials. That way the labor was donated by these guys. But good work all around. Another just some more proof that we live in such a great community. Between the Pages, Evan Lewis with Big Boys Fiberglass, and Garrett Jackson's 6-1 Arts coming together. And guess what? It's fixed, it's there, and it'll be here to enjoy for Wednesday night's street party, the boat parade with Shootout Offshore.
And they jumped right on that. I mean, how great is that? That was just fantastic. Great job, guys.
We're going to move on to Shootout Offshore. It's really all I wanted to talk about, all I could think about, but by the time you're watching this, it may have already happened and you'll get a chance to relive it. But if you catch us before Wednesday night, everything gets kicked off with the first ever boat parade and street party from the historic Bagnall Dam Strip. 5 o'clock, they're going to shut the road down at 3, so you want to make plans and get there early. And you're thinking, hey, the street party, that's like Shootout, right? It is, but here's another element. They're going to parade the boats in on the trailers like a parade. A lot of them will be sitting up with people inside the boat on the back of the trailer, throwing stuff out. So it's going to be a sight. Make sure you get down for that. Thursday, you got the pre-party with Horsepower Hottie out at Shady Gators. You'll have all kinds of drivers and the boats. Should be a lot of fun. And then, of course, Racing Friday and Saturday.
Right here on Lake TV, baby.
8:30 until 5 both days. Friday, you'll have testing from 8:30 till about noon with the Class 1 trials or preliminary races at 12:45 on Friday. You're not going to want to miss that. You'll have all kinds of stuff going on, including on Saturday, the big day of racing. You're going to have Mod V at 9 a.m. At 11. You'll have Class 1. That's the big race that you're going to see the standings for the UIM and Class 1 World Championship Series. This is the second stop. 2 weekends ago, we told you about Cocoa Beach.
Yep.
Of course, the next 3 stops, you have Sheboygan, Michigan. And
Sheboygan?
Yep. What is that what it's called?
No, it is Sheboygan.
Oh, okay. I was like,
That's
well,
just a
I
funny name.
would not be surprised if I butchered it.
Say Sheboygan 3 times. That's a funny name, man.
Sheboygan, 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 Michigan. Right. The third stop on the UIM and P1 Class 1 World Championship Series. They got Sarasota in September and St. Pete in October, where they'll end that series. So don't miss it. Super Stock at 12:30, Super Cat at 2, and then the awards and everything at 6 o'clock at Camden on the Lake. But another huge event happening Saturday, the treasure hunt. The Great Shootout Treasure Hunt at Captain Ron's. That's at 5:30. You know, the kids storm, well, the adults too. I mean, that's me and Unique.
You'll be there, yeah, absolutely.
Right, digging for treasure, and someone's going to win a Hammerhead, a Surdike Hammerhead off-road utility vehicle.
Oh, not a Hammerhead Shark? I figured you want a Hammerhead Shark.
No, that would be at one of the ocean locations for these races. But that's at Captain Ron, so tons going on. And then Sunday, the Run What You Brung Poker Run starts at 9 at Captain Ron's and ends Sunday night at Shady Gators at 5. There's 7 total stops. So all kinds going on. And I did want to also mention Saturday night, I believe it is, Jared Neiman in concert live at Lazy Gators. Or is that Friday night? That's Friday night, May 31st. Friday or Saturday? That's Friday, right?
I think that's Friday, yeah.
Saturday is June 1st. I'm about positive. But go to Shootout, lakeoftheozarkshootout.com. You'll see an entire list of events. You can buy tickets, you can get VIP admission, and of course, one more time, if you can't be there, you can watch all the action on Lake TV both Friday and Saturday behind the scenes on our social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all of those things. You don't want to miss it. I'm fired up.
Yeah, you're really getting into the boat scene, man. You are all over that the last couple years. You're even talking about buying a big $1 million boat last I heard.
Sure, yeah. I was going to see if you would let me borrow your boat, but you said absolutely not. But so Shootout Offshore, you don't want to miss it. And besides that, all kinds of great stuff happening right now on Lake TV. If you look at the community spotlight, the timing's perfect. My favorite offshore racer, Myrick Coyle on the community spotlight. Man, such a cool story because he's from here locally, LCTC. And with this week's Community Spotlight, you get to know Myrick just a little more.
Yeah, that's one of the fun things about that Community Spotlight show is we get to know the people, where they come from, where they grew up, how they got to be where they are. And Myrick actually grew up in Illinois, you know, played football, the whole thing. When he moved here, he was like working as an electrician or something, had nothing to do with boats. And then he caught the bug. So he tells us the story of how that all happened and what it's like to be a big, you know, superstar now because, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. He's world renowned.
Sure.
And he's just right here from the Lake of the Ozarks, but, you know, just a laid back, really cool guy. So be sure to check that out. It's great.
And you'll see his doc featured on this year's LOZ featured doc series, 12 of the biggest, baddest, most unique docs on Lake of the Ozarks today. Coming to you for season 3 of Lake TV's most popular series to date. That brought to you by Jonathan Hartenstein, broker associate with Lake Ozark Real Estate. And I mean, we've got Augie Bush's estate. We're going to be featuring his doc. We've got Myrick Coyle. We've got some bangers. And listen, we're also going to have the first Tesla-powered solar house and dock at Lake of the Ozarks.
That's pretty cool.
Nearly $250,000 investment on a lake house, but you don't need power. You're off the grid with the first Tesla-charged solar panel at Lake of the Ozarks. It's going to be pretty cool. we'll show you that and a
Well,
whole
and you
lot
started
more.
shooting those already, right?
yeah.
The doc series. So, I mean, it's pretty incredible.
The 3 last weekend, and we're looking forward to getting right back on track following offshore weekend. Hey, don't miss Happy Hour with DJ Kyle Miller, out and about telling stories. Last week they were with the Lake Ozark Brewery Trail.
Yeah.
You know, with Lake Shandy, the new beer that's out, and they got the first taste of it. Pretty cool, but you'll get a chance to see DJ Kyle go around the community. They go to Ozarks Cat and Canine each week, and they feature a different pet for adoption with the Furry Friends, brought to you by our veterinary. Super cool. And then listen, outside of Shootout Offshore and the events we're telling you about, there are tons of different events going on around the lake. This weekend, you're going to want to watch Weekend at the Lake with David Leatherberry every Thursday through Sunday on Lake TV, and a few other specialty segments that we're excited about. The June monthly market update with Bruce and Kelly, that comes out this Saturday. Of course, it's Offshore Saturday, so that will not air until 5:30 and 10:30 on Saturday. Of course, if you don't get to catch it on Lake TV, you can watch it on YouTube, Roku, Amazon Fire, or at mylaketv.com. And the last series we're pretty fired up about is Lake of the Ozarks Boats, or LOZ Boats, with Wild Will.
So cool.
We got the Axopar 37 Cross Cabin with Shootout Yamaha. And then we've been featuring some vintage and classics here in the next coming weeks. We'll have some of those for you, so that and a whole lot more. But at this point in the summer, Uncle Chris, we got through Memorial Day weekend. What do you look forward to most this summer at Lake of the Ozarks?
Well, I look forward to the Dallas Stars winning the Stanley Cup.
Here
that's for sure.
we go. I knew you were going to bring it
Because
up.
they're beating the pants off Edmonton, your team right now, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I saw that the Mizzou girls got beat in the softball tournament, right? They made it to the Super Regional round just before going to the College World Series. So great year for the Mizzou ladies. And we're going to the College World Series, the wife and I, this year. That's in Omaha, so that'll be fun. So that's all good. As for here at the Lake of the Ozarks, you know what I'm really excited about is the new offshore race, to see how that fits in with the new leadership, with the Shootout leadership, and how that plays in with the big shootout. What are we going to call that now? Are we going to call it the big shootout, the great shootout, just the shootout?
Well, it's still the Lake of the Ozarks Shootout, and
Yeah.
then the sanctioned race that has the competitive classes side by side is Shootout Offshore. So you get that Shootout name, you get that leadership, and I will be interested to see. It's just hard to follow, though. For people watching, wondering, when Will says UIM and P1,
I know.
it's so hard to follow. You've got the APBA, you've got the ROW, Racing Offshore World. You got all kinds of different sanctioning bodies and promoters, and so it is hard to follow. So it'll be interesting to see. With the Lake of the Ozarks Shootout, one of the most respected names in the offshore community, probably the cream of, the biggest event in offshore racing every single year, the Lake of the Ozarks Shootout, their name into a P1 event, what that looks like, and I'm pretty excited to see that as well.
I do too. I really think it's just going to multiply and just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And right now, the offshore race, the one that's this week, is kind of new with the Shootout people taking it over, making it bigger, better. Working with people like us at Lake TV, so more people get to see it, hear about it and stuff. But I think over a few years, this offshore race, people are going to love that, because it's basically NASCAR on the water. I mean, the boats are out there racing against each other at 100 miles an hour, and faster. And some of them in the past we've saw crashed and go under and all that stuff. I think people are going to love this race.
Sure. All right, so before we go, the only thing I wanted to do was, we've been telling you about the LOZ featured boat series. So without further ado, to end this week's cup of coffee, enjoy the 37 Axopar Cross Cabin from Shootout Yamaha.
The Lake of the Ozarks has become the U.S. capital for a wide array of unique vessels, from luxurious yachts and high-performance boats to cruisers, pontoons, fishing boats, wake surfing boats, and everything else in between. The Lake of the Ozarks offers it all. On Lake of the Ozarks Boats, I'll check out some of the biggest, baddest, most unique vessels on the waters of the lake today. Get ready for this edition of Lake of the Ozarks Boats on Lake TV.
On this edition of Lake of the Ozarks Boats with Wild Will on Lake TV, we got Mason Bennett, Shootout Yamaha here at Port 20, and we got the brand new Axopar 37 Cross Cabin Mason. What can you tell us about this boat?
Well, it's an incredible boat. Axopar all the way from Finland. These boats are just incredible for performance, for usability, for pretty much any kind of boating you're going to want to do. Right behind us, we have the 37 Cross Cabin. It is about 38 feet overall, 11-foot beam, 20-degree dead rise, takes the waves incredible with the twin-stepped hull. It's got the performance. It also has the joystick and the bow thruster for all your docking capabilities. I mean, this really is a big package for what you're getting in a 37-foot boat.
Can we take it out?
Absolutely, let's go.
Boats of this size, getting up on plane and how fast they can do that is a big selling point, and the Axopar really sets itself apart there.
Absolutely. With little to no bow rise, just increases the visibility so you can see what's out in front of you, which increases the safety aspect of the boat. It gets up on plane almost immediately. Here we have it. We're almost at 60 mile an hour. Full tank of fuel. Trimmed up. Wow. And look how quiet it is.
This is great, man.
Yeah.
Golly.
And now what's even so impressive is how well this thing corners. So you holding on, powering through the corner at 50 mile an hour.
Oh yeah, baby.
It really is a performance boat. It's pretty cool how it all works together, and you know, it creates an awesome operating experience as well as with, you know, everybody on board.
But with the Axopar, this really is its own beast, its own brand. Talk about some of the finishes and some of the detail with Axopar that really set them apart.
So Axopar, they're about 10 years old. They really know what they're doing. It's pretty incredible, the quietness of the ride. Do not have a lot of rattles like you would traditionally on like an open bow boat or a cruiser. They integrate the Brabus trim line with the Axopar as well. So what that is, it just kind of gives you some bells and whistles, kind of makes it a little more sporty with the black rails and the upgraded upholstery. So it integrates some of that high-end luxury with still the classic utilitarian features of an Axopar.
So Slick, so do you particularly have a favorite feature or a favorite part of this particular line?
Yeah, I really do. I love the 37s. That's originally what caught my eye, is these 37 cross cabin in the sun top. They both offer unique features in each one, you know? I mean, the cross cabin, it's got the all seasons boating. You can close it up. You can be boating in the fall. It's got a heater, it's got air conditioning, or you can open it up with the power top. This boat will go 60 miles an hour with these twin 350 V10s, which is incredible. You're getting a 360 view, you know, all the way around the boat. You've got a really good visibility, as well as, you know, obviously the really good features of the electronics from the Mercury integrates. It really is kind of a pretty user-friendly vessel to operate.
It's a lot bigger than you might think. You see all of the seating in the back with the chairs, plenty of room up front and even in the cabin, but there's more tucked away up here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you got a full bed, shower, bathroom down there as well. So you can get out of the elements if you absolutely have to, put the kids down for a nap. It has a 12-volt lithium battery AC system, so there's no generator to worry about, which is really cool. That'll last about 12 hours on a charge. All the technology that Axopar offers that we can service here at Shootout Yamaha is integrated into these boats, that they really do think of it all.
What's something like this start at, like 800, 900,000?
No, well, that's what's so cool about Axopar. You get a lot of bang for your buck. It is less than $500,000.
Was that before packages and finishes? I mean, so there's no way this boat right here is under $500,000.
Absolutely it is. You're gonna get the heater, the AC, the Brabus trim package, the twin 350 V10s with all the electronics, under $500,000.
watching Lake TV.